And then, Chargers would have been a good spot. He's from California. But then people were saying, well, he's not much of a Hollywood guy either. What are your thoughts?
Me?
Yeah.
I wasn't really thinking Bucs. Since 1976, they have a 387 win percentage, 73.5% passer rating, 56% completion percentage, which is the worst since 1976. So I wasn't really thinking that he was going to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I thought it was going to be the Titans or Chargers.
Who is that, Caillou? You went fast. Who has those stats?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers since 1976, they have a 387 win percentage, 73.5. Yeah, it's terrible.
Now,
yeah. But remember they got rebuilt with Dungy and then and Gruden. You know what I mean? And they did pretty well with Jameson Winston. They got some good weapons there. I mean, and if they get Antonio Brown, I mean that's going to be a tough team. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be tough.
What weapons?
No, I do agree.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I do agree. I think this will be Tom Brady's tallest receiver that he's ever had. Mike Evans. He's throwing to Wes Walker, Julian Edelman, Deion Branch, and Troy Brown. So this will be the tallest receiver.
But really all separately though. Sorry.
No.
Yeah. So this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they have some really good weapons in Tampa Bay. They have O.J. Howard, a really good tight end. They have Mike Evans. They have Cameron Brate's a really good tight end for them. So they have some weapons. Possibly still at Antonio Brown. No, they were talking about that.
Really?
That could still be a possibility. For them. Yeah.
That would make them stack. Their other tight end is good too. They got two good tight ends. They got great receivers. I forgot who was talking about Tampa.
Who's the other tight end?
It was either you or Justin. The other
Caillou?
tight end they were talking about is really good. Who's the other tight end?
O.J. Howard.
He's good. They got the leader in sacks on the other side.
Shaquille Barrett, yeah.
I mean, these guys are stacked, dude.
So, Caillou, like you were saying, this is the best team that Brady will ever command?
Yeah, I definitely think it's there, but I also think in the NFC there's no easy games because again, I still think that the Saints with Drew Brees re-upping in New Orleans for another 2 years, I still think that them losing Teddy Bridgewater is gonna be a big hit. This case, Drew Brees suffered as an insurance for Teddy Bridgewater, but I do think that still in the NFC there's still like games that they're gonna have to go through, and I still think their defense has a lot of improvement to make.
Is there is the other tight end Cameron Brate?
Which defense, Caillou?
Tampa. I still think that they need to improve, and I also think that there's a learning curve since they're not used to winning. I do think that they can. It's a culture of losing. They're gonna have to learn how to win, and I think there's something we said.
That changes the day Brady signed.
Well,
he's gonna walk in and he's like a Jeter. He's like, I'm telling you, he's gonna walk in, and those guys are gonna be so enamored. And his work ethic, he leads by example. So he's not walking in and telling you. He's like a Jordan. He'll be out there early. He's going to do all that. That entire atmosphere changes. And if they get Antonio Brown, it's even more because now they're saying, oh, God, man, they're really building us up to be a winning team. And remember, if I was playing with Brady, I'm going to get a bigger contract later because he's going to make me look good.
No, I do agree. However, I do think ownership in Tampa Bay, it hasn't been the greatest ownership, and I do think that dealing with the crap for the last 20 years and winning your division 17 titles, I don't think that you're automatically locked to win your division. Plus, you're in the harder conference. Even with the expanded playoff, you're in a harder conference, and I don't think you could get better than the Kraft and the Jerry Jones of the world. So
no. Wait a second, but I'm separating. I'm separating the two, right? I am saying to you, your comment was. They got to change the losing mentality. They have to have the championship mentality. So I was answering that part to the fact that Brady immediately, by signing him, it changes it. Those guys know his work ethic, his sustainability. So all I'm saying to you, the second they sign him, the second they walk into him, he's gonna have like that ninja glow about him. That team is ready. They're championship ready now. I mean, the ticket sales just went through the roof. So if these fans are excited, if I was a player, I don't know about you, it's like playing with Jordan or Kobe. You know what I mean? Shoot, you got to be kidding me, bro.
Okay.
Right? Now, hold on. On the other side, I agree with you. It's no walk in the park. He's got to play Drew Brees twice, and he's got to play the Panthers twice.
Wow,
that's not
and Rodgers. And he has a game against Rodgers.
He's got a game against Rodgers, but he doesn't have to play him twice. You understand?
Yeah, sure.
His division, who is he playing in the East? But, Drew Brees is always going to be tough. And the Panthers are always tough.
Yeah, but the Panthers are going through rebuilding stage, right, Caillou?
Well, they did pretty good without Cam.
Well, I mean, they have Teddy Bridgewater now, so we'll see how Matt Rule transitions to the NFL. But they're still going to be pretty tough. I mean, getting rid of Greg Olsen wasn't the best move, even though you didn't like to bring him back. You could have brought him in as an advisor or that type of role. But we'll see what type of transition Matt Rule makes. But they're going to be all right.
Right. Oh, that's even another point. The fact that Bridgewater is in the same conference, in my opinion, that helps out Tampa because Bridgewater knows how to play against the Saints.
That's right.
You got to remember, if you start beating, it's like the NFC East when they were good. When they start beating each other, a 9-5 team could be the conference champ.
That is very.
That could very happen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's got an edge to do. He's got a burning desire to play against New Orleans.
Eric Hardnett from the comments, Victor asks you, do you think the Bucs can go to the Super Bowl this year?
Damn, they're in the NFC. That's the NFC, right?
NFC South,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But they're in the NFC. Yeah, I think they can go.
Caillou?
I definitely think they can go, but again, the NFC West had 2 straight runner-ups. The 49ers were just in the Super Bowl. They had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. They choked it. The Rams, I think the Rams are going to be better. I was checking the Cowboys schedule for 2020. It's pretty favorable. Now you don't have Jason Garrett there. You have a championship coach in Mike McCarthy. The Eagles should be better. They should get a lot younger. They let Malcolm Jenkins go. They let Jason Peters go. So they'll definitely be addressing the old line situation. Also getting better. The safety, they struggled outside of Philadelphia. On defense, I definitely think that's something for them to improve. And also giving Carson Wentz more weapons, more younger, reliable talent. Yeah, they brought Deshaun Jackson back, and after they made that championship run, but now it's really time for them to get younger. They have good management there, so I definitely think Howie Roseman done a great job there. So I definitely think that, and also you have Green Bay, so there's definitely gonna be a lot of competition. But can they do it? Yes, but in the NFC, I've always said it's gonna be tough.
For me, if I'm Brady at this age, right, I'd rather go against Mahomes than have to beat him to get to the Super Bowl.
But I do think.
Right? I mean, Mahomes. Everyone's worried about Mahomes in the NFC East.
Yeah, but I do think that based on I'd rather think because I think the volume and the depth in the NFC is harder because if you don't play Mahomes, I mean, you're going against Bill O'Brien's coaching, which I really like my chances. And outside of really going against Baltimore and Kansas City, I don't really fear nobody in the AFC. In the NFC, the Cowboys have a pretty favorable schedule this year in 2020. The Philadelphia Eagles, if they get younger, they're going to be better. If Carson Wentz could stay healthy, they could get some receivers, some younger receivers, get a secondary. They really had a horrible secondary last year. Green Bay won 13 games last year. Minnesota has a really good defense. They're going to be really good. Chicago, maybe adding Nick Foles. Maybe they're still competitive. Don't really expect much of them, but they're like an 8-win team. They're still going to be able to trip you up because their defense, and they're really good at home. And playing in Chicago is going to be tough. The Saints are going to be there. Sean Payton's still going to be there. And the Rams are going to bounce back. And Russell Wilson's still always formidable and still always going to win some games. So
there is a comment from Periscope saying that possibly Melvin Gordon could be signed with the Buccaneers.
I'm telling you that. You know how Caillou, you just mentioned that how the Eagles are going to be good, but they need this, they need that, they need this. Tampa's has most of it. They're just adding the tools. This will be the first time this type of quarterback is going to play with weapons on an offensive side that he's ever played.
He's playing with toys.
I mean, he's playing literally, and he's super smart. Think about it. The playbook for New England is double the size of the average playbook in the NFL. So that means it's going to be that much easier for him to learn the Tampa Bay playbook.
But in Philadelphia, I do trust Howie Roseman. They've done it before, and he's been really good. Those signs that they made with Malcolm Jenkins, those signs were just bringing back the veteran core. They had that great run with Nick Foles. You also need good management. Yeah, Brady's going to do a tremendous amount, but is ownership going to go the extra dollar as they would in New England? That's also a factor. If they're one piece short at the trade deadline, is the ownership in Tampa going to go that extra mile to get them that extra piece?
I believe they will. I don't think that you can say. I think they will because they're already showing it. I mean, you just saw what the comment said, that they may get the other player.
Melvin Gordon.
They're trying to get Gordon. They're trying to get
AB.
They're trying to, and listen, guys know where Brady's at. They're looking at the team of Tampa, and if they can play there, they're going to want to play with Brady. They're tired of playing against them, right?
No, they're going to want to play Brady.
Right, right. So that's how I'm looking at it, right? And Tampa's going to put up the money. Now, with New England, I don't really think that New England really put up the money. They were just super smart on their picks, great trades. Because remember, they were just running through veterans, right? They were getting all the veterans in coming in. They were getting them for top dollar. Those guys are going there to win a championship because they've made their money where they were at the teams that they were with, but they were just really good at what they were paying for, right? So I don't think they were money to top dollar, and I don't believe nothing in Dallas. I think Dallas is just a glamorified team that it's that I don't think they're going to go anywhere personally.
I think their schedule is pretty. If you look at their 2020 schedule, it's not that in the for the NFC, their schedule in 2020 is and I don't think they're going to have some of the same discipline problems as they had under Jason Garrett. I think Mike McCarthy, bringing in a championship-proven coach as he's coaching Green Bay. I mean, he made the playoffs 9 out of 13 years.
I like McCarthy.
And it's sour, but McCarthy was really good. I think McCarthy was slept on outside of Mike Tomlin and Bill Belichick. The last 10 years, McCarthy's right there.
I think instead of the Bambino curse, he's got the Jimmy Johnson curse.
True.
All right, guys.
That's how I feel.
Let's go on to the next big move that happened today. Nick Foles to the Chicago Bears. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think there's something maybe just in Philadelphia that took Nick Foles to that next level. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I haven't seen it since he's been with Philly. So. And, it gets cold. He's going to – where was he at? He's going to colder cities, right?
From the Jaguars, from Jacksonville.
Jacksonville was – he was at Philly. Philly's cold, but Chicago's a hell of a lot colder than Philly.
What are your thoughts, Caillou, for Nick Foles going to the Bears?
Here's how the Bears felt. So, Mitch Trubisky struggles when games are over 22 points. It's been proven in his career, the splits, if a team scores over 22 points – the Bears don't win. So the Bears are thinking, Matt Nagy's thinking, we've got to do something. I mean, we've got to bring in quarterback competition for Mitch Trubisky. I think Nick Foles could possibly win the job. This is a situation where management's like, look, Ryan Pace, the GM of the Bears, is like, we've got to bring in some quarterback competition for Mitch Trubisky. Nick Foles has won 4 playoff games since 2017. The Bears have won 4 playoff games since 1991. It's as simple as we're going to bring in quarterback competition for Mitch Trubisky, and whoever wins the job is going to have that job. And we're going to try to rekindle some of that spark he had with Doug Peterson in Philadelphia. But that's
and maybe that's a good deal. Maybe Nick Foles is a better backup quarterback that could come in and finish it. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't really gone a full season.
Yeah, and he's injury prone.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why he's probably better coming in afterwards. Because
he's a super sub.
So he plays less games. I mean, he's not a bad backup quarterback. I mean, Bridgewater was a great backup. Think about it. There's some killer backup quarterbacks. So, and look at them. Pittsburgh at 5, right? So,
speaking about quarterbacks, Caillou right now is the Chargers. They definitely missed out on Tom Brady. They say they're going to stick with Tyrod Taylor. They're number 6 in the draft. What do you think they should do?
I'm not buying that. I don't think they're sticking with Tyrod Taylor. That's just the team's trying to hype up their players. They're definitely going to drop the quarterback with the 6th pick. They're probably going to be taking Herbert. They definitely should take a quarterback at 6. I mean, Tyrod Taylor's a nice quarterback. I've always viewed him as a backup. He's done some nice things in Buffalo, but I definitely think they're going to be taking quarterback at 6. There's no way they don't.
They tagged Hunter Henry. They extended Austin Eckler. They traded Trey Turner. They signed Brian Bulaga, Linval Joseph, and Chris Harris. Victor, how do you see the Chargers so far?
That wasn't really. I think they should have got Brady. I'm happy Brady's in Tampa because he's close. We can go see him more than I would normally go see him because he'd be here once. I ain't got really nothing on the Chargers. What's piqued my interest today was the Brady, the Texans, Cam Newton, and this COVID-19. The rest. I didn't care about the rest of it.
How did you feel about Hopkins? What did you think about Hopkins?
The guy from the Texans?
Yeah, Hopkins got traded to the Arizona Cardinals.
I think that was just. I thought That's a bad move. It was a great move for Texans, and a great move for Arizona. Right? You give the young guy Tyler Murray. Yeah, you give him an attack like that. You know, he had there was a stat that just came up. They had the most scores, percentage of scoring offense, and you know they got this guy who's learning his first year. So, but I don't know what's going on with the Texans. You know what I mean? Because remember last year they were up and down, right? And just and then what supposedly was said to Hopkins, I'm glad he left. You know, the comment. What was allegedly said. I'm saying allegedly because it's two sides, but what I heard, you know, and then again I wasn't there, but that he was brought aside and he was spoken to, and either I think by the head coach, that he was like, "Look, I don't want to have this turn into an Antonio Brown situation, and I know you're the father of you have girls from two different mothers," and just kind of that context, which kind of like shocked everybody, and he was gone. I mean, he could be going for any other reason, but I don't understand that kind of conversation.
Yeah, there was that comment that I heard about that and kind of turned him off a little bit. Caillou,
I would be disgusted.
So Caillou, where would you put the Cardinals? Do you think they're a contender for the NFC West?
I don't think they're a contender. I think it's too early for them to, as a contender. I think it's Kyler Murray's second year. It's got to be tough in that division because I've always thought the NFC West has been the best division in football for it was last year in my opinion. The Rams won 9 games. They had a lot of offensive line struggles. I think that people gave Sean McVay a lot of slack. I mean, he had a rough year. I mean, coming off the Super Bowl, you're not going to go back to Super Bowl again. So I think that with the 49ers, runner-up Super Bowl champions,
Brady goes back to the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, also, I mean, he's in an easier division, easier conference.
You still got to get to the Super Bowl, brother. I don't care who it is.
I mean, it is tough in the NFC when the Eagles, when in the NFC East, when it decreases your chances if you have a bye. And so, sticking my same point, the 49ers runner-up in the Super Bowl last year. It's gonna be tough because you have Seattle, Russell Wilson. How many of those games is he gonna win against Russell Wilson out of 2 games? You have the Rams. So I definitely still have them finishing 4th in their division, even with the addition, because they're not gonna be better than the Russell Wilson-led team. Even Russell Wilson with less, it's still gonna be better than Arizona. He finds a way to make it work. San Francisco might take a step back. I don't think they're going to win 13 games next year, but they're not going to take a step back to be 4th in their division. And I think the Rams are going to be vastly improved. So I think you're playing your division 6 times out of 16, so that's 37.5% of your schedule. So, I mean, it might not show up in the wins, even though they did add a great receiver. I still think a second-year coach, and also they don't have the greatest defense. And you're just in a division where there's a lot of talent. I mean, you have 2 straight runner-up in the championship. You got Russell Wilson. I think they're probably going to finish 4th, even with the addition.
Victor Arocho, what are your thoughts about the Cardinals?
I don't know. I mean, he's a lot of good points. That's a tough division, man. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It's a tough division. You know, I mean, to me, the steadfast for me is Seattle, and it should be the 49ers. The Rams were disappointing coming off a Super Bowl, but 9-7 isn't so bad, so they get bounced back, I guess, from that. It's a tough division, you know. The beauty about making it a tough division, though, is that the fact that you got to play the teams twice. The harder the division gets, the more you beat up on each other. So it's just a matter of, can you play to the level of talent within your conference? At least win 1 out of the 2 games.
A lot more wear and tear on the body, and obviously on
the thing is, when you're good, you know what I mean. You're not going to have a high win season. You know what I'm saying? Think about the best teams of the NFC East when we were winning Super Bowls, right? They weren't like we didn't have like phenomenal records. You know what I mean?
And probably the easiest division still is the AFC East.
Yeah, right now, till someone arises. Let's see, AFC East. You said,
Yeah,
yeah,
AFC East, which is most likely the Bills, right, Caillou?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Jets will make a run. I just think Brady
I
had
also
their
won't.
numbers. And Dolphins looked good. What's his name? Flores. Sorry about that, but at the end of the year, bro, he was coaching well. Go ahead.
I also won't rule it past the Cardinals because a lot in football, this doesn't happen in the other sports, but going from worst to first, it always seems one time every year where a team just goes from worst to first. So I won't rule it past the Cardinals to do that.
Cardinals are. I mean, I think Cardinals are a contender, but I will say this: that Kyler Murray will have an amazing fantasy next season because he has Hopkins to throw to. So, all you fantasy people,
Yeah, he's gonna be great.
Kyler Murray is the man. You guys were talking about the Rams. I've been hearing rumors about Todd Gurley being traded. Is that a good thing, Caillou?
I was cautioning them to do that because Jared Goff's really good at the play action, and unless they get a great return out of him, I think that Todd Gurley, he didn't have a great season, but it was good enough. I would caution them to do that against doing that because Jared Goff's a really rhythm thrower, and he's really good at the play action. So I would caution them against trading against Todd Gurley. I would try to run it back this year, and then, but against that it's tough because if he has another bad this year, you might not be able to get as much. But I would caution them away from just trading Gurley.
Victor, if you were GM of the LA Rams, would you trade Todd Gurley?
No.
Why?
I don't know. I think he's gifted. I think he's still got time in him. They got another good running back. He could share some duties. As long as he passes the physical that he can go, I like Todd Gurley. I think that if they get rid of Todd Gurley, that increases the chances for Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, like the Gurley thing has been a big mystery for LA and for everyone else. No one knows if he's 100% fit. I know the year prior he was amazing, but then towards the end of the season he got injured, and then it kind of spilled over over with last year. So we'll definitely take a look at what's going to happen with Todd Gurley. But if there's signs of trading him, that's not a very good sign. Obviously, like the other trade that we didn't talk about is David Johnson to the Texans. It's a David Johnson that which had a 1-year wonder, Caillou, but do you think he'll do much with Houston?
I don't really know what the Texans are doing. I mean, you're trading for all these running backs. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out, what they're going to do at the receiver position because I don't think Kenny Stills is the number one. Will Fuller is not a number one. Kike Coutee is not a number one. So what exactly is Watson throwing to? I think they're going to be doing a lot of running football, which is not going to be great for them. Will Fuller can't stand in the field, so I'm not sure what the Texans are doing. It's a winnable division. Phillip Rivers is there, which we might get into later, but I'm not really sure what the Texans are doing.
Phil Rivers is going to the Colts, Victor. Good place to retire?
I think that's a good move for him, yeah. It's not a good place to retire. Indianapolis, cold, not compared to L.A. You crazy? I'm sure he's not going to go there long. Yeah, he'll be back in L.A., but, I think it's a good move for him. Indianapolis was a surprising team with, how they were doing with the quarterback leaving at the last second. So I think he'll do fine.
Caillou, is Jacoby Brissett going to start, or do you think it'd be Phillip Rivers?
No, I think Phillip Rivers is starting. I think it's a great move for them. I think it's a great move in the sense that it's only 1 year. It's $25 million. They're going to be in the market for another quarterback next year. Let's make the playoffs outside of Baltimore, Kansas City. Maybe you can win a round or two in Indianapolis. That'll be great for them. So it's just a bridge guy into the next quarterback. It's only 1 year, so it's not really going to cost them in terms of cap, and they'll still have the flexibility to go out there and get another quarterback in 2021.
Another big quarterback issue is Cam Newton. There's going to be an apparent divorce with the Panthers and Cam Newton. No, there's not much rumors of where he's going, but he'll be most likely be traded or cut. Victor, what do you think about this young man's career?
I don't think that he had enough time with Rivera, right? Ron Rivera. I think it was just a year. So he didn't have a chance to adjust to the system, and then he got hurt. That other kid did well. And I think he wanted to stay a Panther. But word on the street is, I don't know what's happening with Dwayne Haskins, but that the Redskins with Rivera there may make a run for, Newton.
What do you think, Kylie? You think Cam will be a good spot in Washington?
No, I don't think they did in Washington. I think that Haskins needs to grow. I mean, they threw him in the fire right away. They didn't have a playbook for him, and he got better as he went along. So I just definitely think they need to keep going with Haskins and make it work. Because you got Ron Rivera there, so I definitely think they need to keep going with Haskins.
I mean,
I'd like to see Miami get Newton. At least, he's tall enough to see before he gets sacked.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? You need a really tall guy like him that he can see over everybody because, he's going to have a sack ratio.
But I think having Ryan Fitzpatrick there, I think what the Dolphins are planning to do, they're going to get a quarterback in the draft. Obviously, you do have Josh Rosen, but the most likely scenario is either Herbert or Tua. But obviously it goes back and forth what's going to happen. But I know there'll be a new quarterback for the Dolphins. Do you think there should be a new quarterback in the Dolphins, Victor?
I'm not a Fitzpatrick fan. I mean, other than that, he's a Harvard grad. He did really well. Yeah, he did very well in Buffalo. Don't forget, and they didn't go anywhere.
You mean the Jets?
Yeah, no. Fitzpatrick was with the Jets, and then he went to Buffalo.
I thought you went to Tampa afterwards.
Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. I mean, I'm not really that impressed with him. You remember, it's great to look. It's easier to look great on a shitty team.
What do you think about Fitzpatrick, Caillou?
Yeah, I agree with those sentiments 100%. I think that Fitzpatrick, I mean, he could get hot, he could throw touchdowns, but also he throws a lot of interceptions. And I do agree with Victor. I mean, he throws a lot of interceptions, and also it's great. I mean, it's great looking bad on a bad team. So
right. I mean, and Kyler, what do you think? I could. I mean, I don't know if it's best interest for Cam Newton, but I'd love to take a shot at Cam Newton playing with the Dolphins.
I don't think that Cam will be in the market to go there. I definitely think that he'll have more suitors than going there. I don't know what exactly his suitors would be because I mean the market's kind of filling up very fast, and I think a lot of teams have quarterbacks now. But I wouldn't explore Miami if I was Cam. I would personally think I would have a better suitor than that.
But if Cam...
no doubt, I'm not arguing with the team. I'm just saying, as a possible, the only greatest shot we have is getting somebody that's that good.
But if Cam does go to a new team, what's the possibility of him being a backup?
Mm-hmm.
Caillou?
I wouldn't have a problem being a backup. I mean, if you're Cam, I mean, you're coming off injury. So if I was Cam, I would want to play because, I mean, he's coming off an injury. And the only point for him to prove it off an injury is by playing. So I'd be cautioned. If he wasn't coming off an injury, I would be fine with being a backup. But I think since he's coming off an injury, he might be more prone to want to start, go to a place where he can start.
Yeah.
No, I agree. There's no way he's going to go to a team and sit. He's got no retribution.
But that could happen, Victor.
Yeah, but he's not going to take it.
It's crowded. Well, I guess he'll have to retire.
He'd go to the Dolphins.
But Dolphins are. I mean, they're going to have Fitzpatrick starting or the new quarterback starting.
I am telling you, if they got an opportunity to make the money to get Cam Newton, Fitzpatrick is sitting.
Yeah, but
they'll talk about the fight. They'll talk about all the shit to let it go.
But they just signed Fitzpatrick for like an extension, right, Caillou?
No, if they did, then
Fitzpatrick will be sitting.
Yeah, I think so. Exactly.
What's the point of having two veteran quarterbacks and trying to groom a new quarterback?
We've always said there's lots of teams that had two veteran quarterbacks. I mean, the second string quarterback's probably the greatest position to play. You get paid several million and you get to watch the game. You don't get hit. Exactly. I mean, you a backup quarterback makes a lot of money.
Like Brian Hoyer. Which another big backup quarterback that I saw was the Browns gaining Case Keenum.
Right, but look at the guys that are backup quarterbacks that nobody knows about, and then they're superstars. So I'm just saying to you that it would be Cam has to put himself in a position to find a place where he can start, because if he goes to a place and is the backup, then the Panthers to the world made the right decision.
What do you think, Caillou?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think there's no way. I mean, you want to be a backup. I mean, he's coming off an injury, and I do think that. He's gonna want to play. I mean, last time we saw him out there with North Turner, he was looking pretty good, and then he got hurt. So I don't think that he's gonna be a backup. And I think under that situation, they'll probably most NFL teams are only gonna keep 2 quarterbacks. I think they would probably use Cam Newton to bridge for the quarterback that they're gonna draft. And then Fitzpatrick, I mean, they could always, cut him or trade him or somewhere because Fitzpatrick, a journeyman like that, I mean, he's been on many teams. Man. He's been on like 8 different teams. So, I mean, he can find a home anywhere.
He might have been with the Buffalo Bills at one point, Caillou.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. And they were winning.
Well, all I know is I remember him on the Jets. I remember him with Tampa Bay. And there might have been a third team. It could have been the Buffalo Bills. Not thinking about it, but I have to see his history. Hold on, let me pull up his Wikipedia. He was with the Bills for 3 years. My bad. Wow.
Told you.
He was with the Rams, Bengals.
Listen to your elders.
This guy's been playing since 2005.
Listen to your elders. That's 15 years.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me you're going to take him over Cam Newton? You're crazy.
Yeah, but there's not
You're
much.
Crazy. That guy is, if he's in good shape, he is a stud. 6'8", everything he's got.
Another trade that happened, Mariota to the not yet. Possibly a trade for Mariota to the Raiders. Caillou, would that be a good spot for Marcus Mariota?
I think it is because at this point, I mean, he is what he is. I think he's a backup quarterback to Derek Carr. Yeah, he had time in Tennessee and he lost his job to Ryan Tannehill. So at this point, I mean, he's a backup in the league and they go forward with that. And I think he's a good insurance policy just in case Derek Carr gets hurt.
And I do want to hear Victor's comments about the Titans signing Tannehill for a 4-year extension for $118 million. Victor, how about this guy? What a story.
Yeah, what did I say to you? The best move as a professional football player, other than you being already coming out as a superstar, is to go play for the Dolphins for a couple of years, then go to another team, and you become a rich superstar.
Like the Patriots. You become.
Think about it, Wes. Well, I mean, we can go name after on Tampa Bay, the ex-Dolphins, Terry Kidd Jr. So I think that Tannehill, I liked him in college a lot. I like that the Dolphins got him. So I don't know if they just ruined quarterbacks. I like that the Dolphins got him, and I think he did a great job for Tennessee. Because he didn't have to be, when I say a great job, meaning he did his role. He wasn't the Mahomes that was like Superman that he can beat you himself. You know what I mean? Having a runner like that, he made the right throws, the right calls. You understand? So he was great for that team. I mean, that's why I was shocked if Brady would go there because Tannehill's young, isn't he?
Tannehill's about 31, I believe.
He's pretty young.
Yeah, he's 31. Obviously, we talked about this with Caillou on Monday, but he had a good year. But can he continue that phenomenon for year 2 and year 3? What are your thoughts, Caillou?
I think a lot of it had to do with Derrick Henry, but I do think a lot of it had to do with Derrick Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry's amazing. I do think that a lot of it had to do with Derrick Henry running for 5 yards on first down and then it being 2nd and 5. And then him to make an occasional throw. They had really good tight ends. Jono Smith was really good for them last year. They had one outside threat, A.J. Brown, who was really good for them last year. So I do think a lot of it had to do with more play action. So I think under the right system, he'll be fine. However, I don't agree with him getting around the right amount, the amount of money that he got. But given the position and the finance of the cap, the quarterback is always going to get paid more than the running back.
Nah, man, let them get their money. I don't care. You know what I mean? Let them get their money. That's how I look at it. So
I don't have a problem with him getting his money because I'm not paying it. But I'm just saying,
Good thing you're not paying it, Caillou.
And remember, you guys don't realize you don't know the NFL contracts are the toughest contracts. So when you get paid 100-something, that's the total of the contract. But the most important is what's guaranteed.
Guaranteed money. Yeah, that's what Ryan said.
If you get cut, you're done. Like you don't get there. This ain't basketball. This ain't the baseball. I mean, basketball players got it the best. They sign, they pay. Friggin' Alex Rodriguez is still getting a check from the Yankees.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's true. NFL players, you definitely support the millionaires. Yeah, I agree.
Because that's why if you hear them arguing, like they fight for upfront money. These guys want to pay it over time or pay it less, but you have there's a lot of contingencies and spiffs, which I understand, but they're shooting for that guaranteed money. So that's why everybody thought Antonio Brown was crazy. He just needed to sign one piece of paper and got $30 million.
Something to definitely look at, of course.
One signature, $30 million. Oh my God!
What would you do with $30 million, Victor?
I would sign it in blood for half.
Caillou, and how little sideway thing. What's going on with Major League Baseball? Like, they're gonna postpone the season for a little bit, or?
I think with the coronavirus, I think the situation is very fluid. I don't think that they'll postpone 162 games. I do think that they'll, as it gets worse and as you get like closer to June, I think they'll probably agree to like something like 145 games or a little lower than that if it continues staying. Maybe they'll play 162 games. But as you get longer in the season, I mean, you don't want to go against the NFL in September into November. So I definitely think they'll have to think about lowering the number. I don't think they'll cancel all the games unless it gets really bad where it gets under 70 and where your best starter like Derek Hall is only making 12 starts. Then you might have to think about canceling the season. But I still think they'll be able to play the amount of games that they need to play.
Hey, let's talk about the COVID-19?
Yeah,
Durant and those guys got positive, tested positive.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets. What's going on with that, Caillou?
What, Kevin Durant?
No, yeah, with Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets players getting coronavirus.
I think Kevin Durant. I think the young people will mostly be fine. It's just more to them to be precaution. The 80% of the people are fine. It's just more the people in the thing, which we should definitely still be concerned about. But I definitely think the athletes like Donovan Mitchell getting it and Rudy Gobert, I think their job is more to spread awareness about the virus, but they'll be fine.
No, yeah. I agree with you, Caillou, on that. But what's interesting to me, though, about this virus is that Rudy Gobert, you pronounce him, he had it, and he was with his team and playing, and yet only two of them have it. And Duncan gets it, and like there's 4 or 5 Brooklyn Nets. This just, you know what I mean? There's no rhyme or reason on how did it spread there compared to Rudy Gobert. You understand? That's what's scary.
I think it's inexact because you don't know how if Kevin Durant was, since he's not playing, we don't know if he was shaking hands, if he was hanging out with people. I mean, Rudy Gobert got it. Yeah, Rudy Gobert got it.
Also, Durant's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, true.
A lot more people. A lot more.
Yeah, it could have been in Brooklyn.
And I'm not dogging Brooklyn. Shout out to BK all day, baby. So, but I'm just saying to you, New York City in itself is,
just walking in there.
It's a saturation of people.
Yeah, shaking hands.
There's no social distancing there. If there was social distancing in New York, they'd be spread out to Florida.
Sure.
Which Caillou is located in New York City. Victor, tell me about, so far it's been almost a week or over a week with sports, most of the sports events in the spring being postponed. What were your thoughts, or what has been your reflection this past week?
Kind of sad. It took me a week to really start really understanding the strength of this COVID-19, this situation. Listening to, believe it or not, the sportscast and Rudy Gobert and some of the things Jay Will was saying. But, it's sad for the fans. It's sad for the players. It's good for safety. But what's hard is, like, for me at least, I don't know how my son feels. By the way, Florida Senate named Florida State national champions in basketball. So shout out to the Noles.
Florida State.
So, but like this is his senior year, and he's like got to finish school from home, and we don't know when we got to go pick up his stuff from school, and then they may not have the graduation. Imagine being your senior year in college. So you kind of feel bad for those guys. I feel bad for the guys of March Madness. I feel bad for all the athletes that had their senior year that are going to play women's softball, whatever. It's even though it's only one semester, and let's hope that's all it is. It's just that part kind of saddens me. I don't know. I guess just being if I was a senior, that would suck.
Caillou, how are things up in New York? I know you're at the epicenter of the city, but what is the feeling? What's the vibe over there?
Everyone's trying to keep the social distancing. There's a lot of panic in the grocery stores. Times Square is completely shut down. Everywhere nationwide, the Apple stores are shut down. So it's definitely been basically what it's been around the country. And I definitely want to add to what Victor said. I definitely do appreciate what Mark Cuban, Kevin Love, Zion Williamson's doing, donating to all those arena workers. Every MLB team is donating to all the arena workers. I know they've done it in hockey. So it's been great to see all the millionaires helping the arena workers out at a time where this country really needs it.
Yeah, and that's nice of them, and they should do it. That's part of their family. But Caillou, what did you think about? You're a young guy. What did you think about my comment on being a senior athlete during this season? Right, because you play like the players in the fall season and winter season played. Now the fall, the winter, summer, winter, whatever, and then now fall going into spring. They're not going to have the same opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's very tough. Obviously, being a senior in high school and finishing possibly online and not knowing if the graduation is going to be held.
No, in college. I'm talking college.
Yeah, both too, because high school sports as a senior and also in college as well. So I definitely think it's tough for them. I think at least for the NCAA and the winter sports, at least they got to finish a regular season. I do think it's tough because they didn't get to finish the March Madness, and that would have been fun for them. I definitely think it's a little better that they finish in the regular season more opposed to the spring sports where they didn't even get to start their season.
True.
So I definitely think the NCAA should look into adding an extra year for them. But that's also tough because in college athletics, you only have a limited amount of scholarships. And if you give to the seniors, the freshmen will feel like if I'm one and done, I should get an extra year too, because technically you did have your season ruined too, and you want to cater to the seniors, but you could also have freshmen that say, I could have had this could have been extra for me as well. So I definitely think it's tough to give everybody extra year.
Well, the tough part about the March Madness was some of the teams that never got there. This is the first time Rutgers was going to be in it. They were ranked. Dayton. You know what I mean? So it's like
San Diego State.
When you're the Cinderella team, it's no matter whether you finish your season or not, your season was driven by getting into that tournament. That's all I'm saying. Just and they're young. You guys are young men. You don't want that on. I don't want anything on anybody, right? It's just that's the one part. There's sometimes the parts of your lives you can't get back, and and it is what it is. But like I said, when he asked me how I felt, it was just globally realizing the toll it's taking on people and work and businesses and sports and because think about it, when things are not going well or whatever in the recession, people turn to entertainment, and sport is an entertainment.
Definitely a feature that's missing out throughout these past couple of days and this weekend. Do you guys think that when do you guys think that sports will be resumed?
I believe until the numbers start going down as opposed to going up.
Caillou?
I think it's tough to say because it changes by the moment. So I know the NBA yesterday was talking about how, if it gets worse, you want to push the season into June, but if it gets worse, you may not have another season. And I think especially if Kevin Durant got it, and then we find out today the Lakers are also getting tested who played them. So I think if more players start to contract, the NBA, just based on the calendar, they might get to a point where they do want to continue the season, but they might get to a point where they can't play. And in terms of baseball, they have more fluidity because the sport's 162 games. So if it gets then you could probably play you still probably play 125 games, but it all depends. You got to get the numbers down.
Less chances for people to throw at the Astros. Oh, by the way, I was wrong. He was comparing him. I apologize to Antonio Brown. It wasn't Antonio Brown. It was the coach from Washington put him and Aaron Hernandez in the same conversation. That's even worse. That's terrible. I mean, nothing to Antonio Brown. I think he's awesome, but compared him to Aaron Hernandez, I just wanted to correct myself. I just saw it on Sports.
That's horrifying.
That's terrible. I wouldn't play. I was answering the question when sports would resume. Basketball, I can't. You never know. You don't know what's going to happen there. They may have to kiss goodbye or whatever, but they'll do something. Basketball's, beauty about basketball is you got 12, 15-man roster, so they may put on something. These guys, they're good with it. My comment was like China's starting going down. I think sports will resume when the numbers stop increasing, because right now they're increasing at a rapid rate. China is actually starting to reduce under 2,000 for the first time in a while.
Yeah, like the South Korean league is resuming their league this week
because somehow it's starting to go down. So
yeah, if it would get down, hopefully in May or June. But just like Caillou says, I think if we see more NBA players contracted, they might not have a season at all.
Well, for basketball, I would make a quick point about basketball. Yeah, it's 12 to 15 on your roster, but you got to think about you got coaches, you got trainers, you still got to have arena workers, you got referees, you got broadcasters. So if you're following the CDC's advice and they're telling you no less than 50 people, that's 50 people right there, because you only have 12 to 15 players, but you have coaches, you have assistant trainers, you have trainers, you have arena workers.
I agree. I was saying when the numbers go down as it increases, but the numbers have to go up as the ratio, because right now it was like 10 to 1. So what I'm saying to you, it has to be arena count worthy. You know what I mean? You can't have 6 feet distance, because even if you had a half full arena and you're sitting next to each other, you're not 6 feet away. Right. And so it has to be where it's global. I understand that. I was just saying that they'll start opening certain things up.
What about playing like in the NBA, playing behind closed doors with no crowds, with no spectators, just like what they're doing in wrestling? Do you think that's a better solution?
I like what LeBron said. I ain't playing if there ain't no fans.
What do you think, Caillou?
I would absolutely hate that, but I mean, if it's going to help the people and help to reduce the spread, I mean, I'm all for it. But as a fan, I would absolutely hate that, because the fan is a huge element in the game of sports, and that crowd at the Laker game and playoff games, especially Kobe dying this year and having that opportunity to win the championship in front of the fans, for the fans, I would absolutely hate that and hope it will be the last resort.
But let me tell you, though, this puts think if based on you just talking about the Lakers, this does put a twist in the Lakers' game plan. It's going to give LeBron another year of being older. It's going to give Zion a chance to heal, right? And it's going to give KD a chance to heal, right?
And the Warriors, too.
And the Warriors to heal.
Wow.
So the LeBron Anthony Davis project may be a little harder next year than I believe it is this year.
Right,
Caillou? I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, because age, Father Time is undefeated, and of course, LeBron had so far had a great season, look healthy, look in his prime, making scoring great numbers, but obviously a year older, you see some diff.
And even if he plays great, you're still now playing against. You're just adding another 6 more superstars to the league.
Exactly, and plus the West with the Warriors, they might be at full steam. So
they're gonna come in pissed.
Yeah, and same for the Clippers. Clippers also had like a small opening as well to win a championship.
Yeah, I want to ask you. I don't know. I think they're going to be good, but I want to ask you a question and see what everybody's comments, because I heard this on one of the sports shows. If you had to take 2 guards, which 2 guards would you take? Would you take Kawhi, or who are harder to defend? I'm not sure which one was to take or harder to defend. Doesn't matter. Pick whatever you want. Kawhi and Paul George, or Steph and Clay.
You go first, Caillou.
Caillou.
Kawhi and Paul.
Okay.
Why?
Because I think they're more versatile. I think that they could score from different areas of the court.
I agree with Caillou. I'll pick those 2. Victor?
All right. I'd pick Clay and Steph Curry.
Why?
And my reasoning is that they changed the way you have to play defense, right? So the second, and I'm just repeating what these guys said, but I agree with it, so it's me. The second they step across the half-court line, you have to cover them. You understand? They can bomb it from there anytime they want to. So your defense has to come all the way out. When Kawhi and Paul George, now they're great players, and I think you win championships also with them. And he's already proved it. I'm just saying to you, those two guys changed the game of basketball.
Well, there you have it.
That's a lot of court to cover.
There you have it. Any closing words, guys? Go ahead.
One more thing on that. I don't think I see one player that runs for an opening as much as Steph Curry does.
Who?
Steph Curry is running all the time around picks and screens to get an open shot, and I don't believe I see too many players that do that with that consistency all the time. He's never still.
Caillou?
Yeah, I agree.
Caillou agrees. Well, guys, we're coming towards the end of the show. Let's have some closing words. Actually, before that, hold on. I'm trying to say closing words or go to the best way to reach you. Let's do some closing words. Caillou, you first.
I don't have any.
Victor?
Closing words. Everybody stay safe, be smart, and pray for those that aren't as fortunate as you are and I am.
Something to definitely look at. Of course, sports isn't paused, but the NFL definitely lining it up. The sports world again. Sports Center was back on, not fully, but most of their reporters are reporting from home. And, of course, all of us in the Sportscast are sort of self-quarantined. I know Caillou is. I am not 100% quarantined. Victor, I think you are, right?
Well, with my family.
Yeah, but you still go to work, or do you?
No, I'm working from home this week. We're going 1 week on, 1 week off.
Okay, so next week you'll be back.
Yeah, we'll see. It depends how things go, but yeah.
Yeah,
I could work from anywhere, so it don't matter.
Well, the moment of sports is definitely keeping going. Tom Brady signed, and yes, there's a few players not yet signed or traded, so we'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys up to date. Caillou, what is the best way to reach you to talk to you about the NBA?
They can reach me at Caillou Borde 12 on both Twitter and Instagram.
And Victor, what is the best way to reach you to talk to you about Melvin Gordon?
It's on Twitter at Arocho. That's VAROCHO, and that's Twitter.
And you can reach us at the Sportscast at thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net, or on Twitter at thesportscast1. We'll be having more shows this week. We're working on an interview with a big website from Jacksonville Jaguars, a fan base, to talk about the situation there with Kylise Campbell and Nick Foles leaving. And we'll probably have Ty turning at the end of the week to forecast where are the teams positioned at now with their new signings, and how will that affect the NFL draft. And we're also looking at Jeff Favre either this week or next week to talk about the situation in Kansas City, which is not doing much on their end, but he could definitely go around the NFL. Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming on to this coronavirus busy week in sports, but the NFL relived it. I appreciate you guys coming on.
Awesome. Caillou, good talking to you.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Thank you.
All right.